Hong Kong is a bastion of free expression, art, culture, and while mainland China was being ravaged by Mao's Cultural Revolution in the 1960s, Hong Kong was still a British colony and home to a radical experiment in free market capitalism.
This thriving, bustling, dynamic city has been made possible by the free market, indeed the freest market in the world.
Britain returned Hong Kong to China today, ending 156 years of colonial rule.
By the time partial control was handed over to the Chinese government, creating the one country, two systems model, per capita wealth here had eclipsed that of even the UK. That experiment may be coming to an abrupt end. China's People's Congress adopted a national security law that would allow the mainland to clamp down on civil liberties, destroying the political freedom that made this semi-autonomous city a desirable
No! God, please, no! No!
live. The U.S. government has threatened to revoke Hong Kong's special trading partner status and levy targeted sanctions to oppose Beijing's action. Revoke Hong Kong's special trading partner status and levy targeted sanctions to oppose Beijing's actions. But there's another foreign policy lever the government could pull that's nonviolent, humane, and beneficial to U.S. citizens. Make it easier for Hong Kongers to leave by welcoming them into America.
Not only would it be good for them, but it would also be good for the West.
Ilya Somin is a law professor at George Mason University and the author of the new book, A Law Professor.
Trump ends preferential economic treatment for Hong Kong. Hong Kong would be treated the same as mainland China, Mr. Trump said. He also signed a law to impose sanctions on officials who cracked down on rights. Speaking in the Rose Garden on Tuesday, Mr. Trump said his executive order would end preferential treatment for Hong Kong. No special privileges, no special economic treatment, and no export of sensitive technologies, said the president, who first announced in May that his administration would begin paring back the territory's special status. He also told reporters he had signed the Hong Kong Autonomy Act, which passed unanimously in Congress earlier this month. This law gives my administration powerful new tools to hold responsible the individuals and the entities involved in extinguishing Hong Kong's freedom, Mr. Trump told the news conference. After being questioned by a journalist, the president said he had no plans to speak to Chinese President Xi Jinping. He also told reporters that, "We hold China fully responsible for concealing the coronavirus and unleashing it upon the world." China has strongly criticized the move, vowing to take retaliatory action. China's foreign ministry condemned the latest U.S. moves, saying they were a gross interference in its domestic affairs. In a strongly worded statement, it said the country would also impose retaliatory sanctions against U.S. individuals and entities to safeguard China's legitimate interests. The U.S. attempt to obstruct the implementation of the national security law for Hong Kong will never succeed, the statement said. We urge the U.S. side to correct its mistakes, refrain from implementing the act, and stop interfering in China's internal affairs in any way. China will firmly respond if the U.S. goes ahead. Washington-Beijing ties have become increasingly frayed in recent months. With Mr. Trump facing an uphill battle for re-election this November, he and Mr. Biden have accused each other of being weak on China. On Monday, the administration condemned China's military buildup in the South China Sea, accusing it of bullying neighbors. Last Friday, Mr. Trump told reporters on Air Force One that a Phase 2 trade deal with China was in doubt because of its handling of coronavirus, which he called the plague. Last week, too, the Trump administration announced sanctions against Chinese politicians who it says are responsible for human rights violations against Muslim minorities in Xinjiang.